people forget just how difficult it was to be like a queer rapper. Then you have Lil Nas X, who literally is as big as fucking Britney Spears was when Britney Spears was, you know what I mean? That's amazing. That to me is like a Martin Luther King, like I had a dream moment. Hi, hey, bienvenue. Hi, I'm Mykki Blanco and I am a musician. In 2010, I wrote this poetry book called From the Silence of Duchamp to the Noise of Boys. And after writing this poetry book, I got really interested in kind of trying to figure out a way to combine like music with my poetry. And then about a few months later, I had the idea of this character that was going to be like a teenage girl that wanted to grow up to be a famous rapper. I started to kind of like present as female for the first time. It really kind of actually wasn't so much of a character, and it was really more of kind of like the discovery kind of me first, like kind of expressing like my transgender identity. So it was a really intense but really powerful time that like ended up changing like the course of my entire life. I'm high by the beach line, please say me, my babe. At that time I moved to New York because that's where the art world was centered. That's where underground music was centered. It's like, you know, it's the underground city that you go to. Now it's like everywhere is a little Berlin, everywhere is a little New York, everywhere is a little, you know, a little Paris in certain aspects. But, you know, if you're from a city or if you've lived in a city for a bit, that idea that like, oh, this is the coolest place to be kind of doesn't really exist anymore, anywhere, in a sense. One of my really close friends I made here over the years was a woman named Dora Diamant. And she was really kind of instrumental in the scene here in Paris for a long time. And, you know, and she really took me under her wing, and I became really familiar, you know, through the city with her, you know, meeting people like Kitty Smile, you know, building a relationship with Woodkid, who produced half of my debut album when I moved away from mixtapes. So there was definitely a link with Paris kind of made through all of these people that helped make it a really special place for me over the years. I mean, one of the biggest things that set all this new music apart was a really simple idea, which was like, I didn't want to sample because I didn't know what it felt like to wholly have every single part of your song be yours and not a reference to anybody else. And even if it was a reference, it's still like through your own language, so it's still yours. And that was one of the biggest things when I first started working with my executive producer, Faulty DL. You know, I was like, let's not sample at all. And that's how we started to work with a lot of session players and a lot of vocalists, because it was like, hey, like I have these ideas for melodies. Like, we don't need to sample some song from the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or wherever, or the 50s. That all of a sudden became like really freeing. And it really changed the complete sound of the music, like totally. So like in 2019, almost all the music was done, like done. Like already had good featurings, like was really good. Album was supposed to come out in 2020, then it like didn't. It's Not My Choice with Blood Orange. That song was already done. Blood Orange wasn't on the song. You know, it was another singer who was like really good. And then, you know, I sat around with listening to the song for like 4 months, and I was like, the song kind of gives me a Blood Orange vibe. I was like, let me just see if Dev would be into it. And then he was really into it, and we did it. With Hudson Mohawk, with Free Ride, my executive producer had a good relationship with him, and he sent him the song, and he liked it, and he kind of like reproduced it. And so in having even more patience, then all of a sudden it was like, this is even a stronger project. You ain't no host, I ain't no hoe, baby. People forget just how difficult it was to be like a queer rapper. They really forget, like just 7 years ago, how really nasty people could be, you know? The scene has changed wildly in that, you know, there have been breakthrough artists that cross the boundaries of hip hop. You know, so like un.e was a really big success in the United States. I don't really know about internationally, but like she has millions of followers. You know, she's like a lesbian rapper. Then you have Lil Nas X, who literally is a black queer pop star, and who started out kind of more in hip hop and is now kind of in this now new American genre of like hip hop pop, but is a fucking pop star. Is as big as fucking Britney Spears was when Britney Spears was, you know what I mean? That's amazing. That to me is like a Martin Luther King, like I had a dream moment, because it checks all the boxes of how far, okay, culture has come and how awesome that is. You know what I mean?
I know I messed up.
Now it's going to be super cool because it's like, you know, I mean, now I'm working with 7 other artists. You know, I'm working with like 3 vocalists, you know, someone on saxophone, someone on keys, someone on a drum pad, guitar. And it's just so cool because, you know, we're just going to be able to do so much with my new music. Then we're going to be able to do all these cool new versions of my old stuff. There are still electronic triggers that trigger certain beats or certain rhythms. You know, I'm not trying to completely take away like the beat aspect or the electronic aspect out of my music, but it's just that now with these organic sounds, it just becomes like a whole sonic experience in a way that I was never able to achieve with just a DJ and a backing track. So you know what? I guess I can talk about it now because the next single is going to be out in November. So the next album, it's 13 tracks. It's called Stay Close to Music. I won't reveal any of the collaborators except the first single. The first single is a duet in which I sing, and it's with Michael Stipe from REM. And so it's called Family Ties. And that will be out in November. And Kitty Smile has done a remix to the song that I did with Big Frida called That's Folks. If you want to know.
Take out on the couch, that's beef with you. I'm selfish, we got me. Same shit, oh shit, like a TV.